Here we go. We are now live.
I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening.
It's okay. No problems.
It's a great place where I saw local entrepreneurs give it their best. Nice person.
Of minds where people are able to share openly and connect.
I think we just stopped that.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening there.
All right, that's fine. Internet connections. We all know what that's like. Thank you for A for effort, you know, A for effort. Alrighty. Okay, so let's get started then. We did our best with that. We have a really fun video. We'll do that in the future when we have better internet. Alrighty, well, welcome everyone. I see we're live on YouTube now. Hello everyone who's joining us on YouTube. It's great to have you here. Everyone who's over here on Zoom with me, if you can give a wave to everyone over on YouTube so they can see we're all here. Oh, there. Oh, goodness gracious. Yes. All right, we're all here. Yes. Okay. So welcome to Amplify Live Women's Pitch. So this is our third Amplify Live of the year. We launched these back in November. I'm really excited to be able to deliver these live on YouTube. It was something that we've dreamed about doing for a while, and then kind of were able to have that opportunity to test it out and have really enjoyed it, and appreciate everyone who's continued to come and join us here in this space. So those who are on YouTube, also, whether you're joining us live or you're joining us a little bit later it's going to be up on our YouTube page, of course. Please do say hello. Let us know who you are, where you're joining us from, and throughout the entire program, please feel free to say hello, ask your questions and even provide your own feedback, or if you see something going on that you want to connect with the pitchers or the panelists or anyone, just let them know. And we'll provide their contact details along the way. Now, before we start, one thing I wanted to do was to acknowledge that Volition was founded on the unceded ancestral territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. So we acknowledge our traditional hosts and extend our gratitude for their graciousness in welcoming us to carry on our work on this land. And in terms of who we are Volition. I am Melanie Yoon. I'm one of the managing partners and co-founders of Volition, and we build capacity, connectivity, and knowledge within startup ecosystems. We operate across North America and in Europe, and then are getting into some new areas as well. And how we work with those ecosystems is through partner programming, meaning that we connect with different ecosystem actors and partners in various ecosystems. I'll just keep saying that word. And we put on, we design and deliver programming across kind of like ideation to growth stage topics for entrepreneurs. We also provide coaching. We have 10 or 11 incredible experts in various different kind of knowledge gaps and pain points that entrepreneurs typically will experience along their entrepreneur journey. We actually have one of them here today on our panel, Charlene Fothergill, so you'll get to know her a little bit better. And then we also put on events such as this. So we've been doing that since 2016, and this is our 103rd pitch event. And we've had just shy of 6,000 audience members. We might get there today, we shall see, and seen over 940 pitches along that time. So it's been an incredible few years here. All righty. I wanted to mention that this event here today is being sponsored by a couple of incredible organizations. One of them is Startup Canada. So this program is part of the Startup Women Community Fund, which was presented by Sovereign Insurance, UPS, Inniskillen, EDC, and Scotiabank, as well as Startup Canada. Essentially, they did 1 month of digital programming over the past 31 days. And how we were involved is that we were part of the mentorship that they were doing for women entrepreneurs, as well as different mentor circles on lots of different topics. They also helped us continue our programming on our Instagram, where we do weekly founder chats. So we talk to 5 different women from across kind of a global perspective. We talked to a woman from Albania yesterday, a few from Canada, some from the US. So if you go to our Instagram at This Is Volition, you'll see about 40 interviews there, but the last 5 were all from this Startup Women programming, which is really cool. And then of course, they're also helping sponsor today's Amplify Women's Pitch. So thank you so much to Startup Canada for that. I also want to thank Pivot and Pilot. They help food, beauty, and wellness brands stand out and capitalize on their first impression through branding, e-commerce solutions, and packaging design. They do a lot more than that. They actually helped us with our branding, our rebrand of Volition. We have been around for a few years, and our team has changed and our directions changed, and we felt we had a new story to tell, and worked with them over the past few months to develop a new brand. It looks fairly similar, but different kind of tone in terms of colors, and also change of our brand itself. If you ever want to know more about that process, please do feel free to reach out. But in the meantime, you can check out Pivot and Pilot at Pivot and Pilot or pivotandpilot.com. And they're on all the socials and doing a lot more on YouTube these days, which is fun too. Okay, so what the next, what is it, almost 90 minutes of your life will look like. So we're going to talk about how you can connect with each other. We know this is a virtual space, especially with YouTube. We don't have a lot of options. We don't have a lot of polling kind of going on and engagement. We are working on that. And if you have any ideas for how we can incorporate polling into our YouTube events, we would love to know. But we will talk about how we can still connect with each other. And we do have a tool that we can do that with. We'll do introductions. You'll get to know the panelists. And then we're going to jump into our pitches. So we have 5 incredible startups here today, women who are going to be pitching their company from across North America. We have one that's like, we have a couple from the US, but one of those also happens to be in Canada because they're launching here in Canada. And then the rest are all from across Canada. You're going to hear their 3-minute pitch. They're going to get feedback from our panelists. And we're going to talk about how you as the audience can support them and help amplify what they're doing. And then we're going to wrap up with an audience vote. So we'll let you know how you can do that a little bit later on. But essentially, we're going to ask you to jump onto a platform called Buzzit and vote on your top pitch, who will get various prizes that we'll get into in just a moment. And what to base that on, really just like whichever one you like, or whichever pitch you heard that you felt kind of like tick those boxes, told a really great story, had fantastic structure, talked about their problem and their solution. They kind of, intrigued you. And talked about your opportunity, whatever it happens to be that you want to vote on, but kind of feel free to take notes along the way because we will have that audience vote at the end. Also feel free to ask questions as well. As I was mentioning, get in the chat, ask questions. Over to you, Isabel.
Hello, I'm Isabel. I'm the Community and Events Coordinator for Volition. So different ways you can connect today. So as Melanie mentioned, please do get into the YouTube chat. Say hi, let us know where you're calling in from. If you have any questions for the pitchers, for the panelists, or for Volition, you can go ahead and ask in there. Our marketing manager will be in the chat as well, putting in all the information for the pitchers as they pitch, different ways you can connect with them as well. And then for voting, so as Melanie mentioned, we do have an audience vote for top pitch today. So how you can do that is head to buzzit.ca and enter Amplify Women into the event key. And this has all the pitchers' information. So not only can you use it for the voting, but you can use it to connect with the pitchers afterwards as well. The event page will be up there after the event. If anyone piques your interest and you want to learn more about them, all their information is there. So also we'd love to hear about you. About it from your socials. So Volition is on all the socials. We're on most of it as This Is Volition. So we will be live tweeting and doing Instagram stories throughout today's event. If you do happen to do any live tweeting or Instagramming yourself, you can use the hashtag Amplify Live Pitch or Amplify Women's Pitch. And as Melanie mentioned, we are on YouTube, obviously, because we're here today. We do need 100 subscribers to get our own URL. So we would love if you could help us do that. Hit subscribe while you're watching today. It's very quick and easy to do. And this will be housed on our YouTube channel to watch later. So whether you're watching now or a week from now, thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit subscribe. So we do have some pitch rewards for our top pitch. So from Volition, we can do either an IG Live or a blog feature. So depending on what you prefer, some people are comfortable being on camera, others prefer for a blog feature on our website. And then we do also award an advisory session with one of our managing partners. So that's with either Melanie or with Paul. Pivot and Pilot, one of our sponsors, they give a brand strategy session and marketing SWOT analysis. And then we have two new prizes from two pitch alumni. So one of them is from Resurgo, and they are offering a one-on-one support session and a 1-year full membership to the top pitch. We first met Resurgo at a Pitch Canada back in August 2020, and they're a web app that supports self-employed women to succeed. They're dedicated to mental and emotional well-being for entrepreneurial women. And then the other is from Flick. So they are offering a 1-year membership complimentary. So Flick, we actually met at a Pitch Canada in June 2020. They're a platform and community hub connecting female leaders and founders to students across the world. So that is our prizes up for grabs. And now I'd love to introduce you to our panel. So if we could have Shay introduce herself first.
Sure. My name is Shay, and I am originally from New York, but now living in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And I am a social impact entrepreneur. And what that means is basically I like opening up and starting businesses that make a social impact. I currently run a social enterprise called empowerment.work, where we work with foreigners who are unemployed and employed, helping them with their career through coaching, workshops, masterclasses, and helping them find themselves again. And just recently I started another one called Winnovate, which is a community platform for women in science and technology. And our goal there is to support women to stay in technology and science. Normally, women leave within the first 12 years. And that really affects everyone because we lack diversity at the decision-making table. And here we try to support them with coaching, mentorship, inspiration, masterclasses, workshops, whatever they need, and also opportunities to show that they're thought leaders as well. And eventually, hopefully, we'll be providing them with sponsors who can open doors for them and provide them with opportunities.
Thank you, Shay. And Charlene, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Charlene. I'm here in Vancouver, British Columbia. So I'm an HR professional. I currently work for a really early stage tech company. I love working for startups. And kind of previous to that, I used to run the Grow Lab Accelerator program, which was a VC-backed accelerator program. Did a lot of work kind of in the general startup scene, that whole VC-backed Dragon's Den pitch kind of world. So done a lot of work there and continue to do mentoring and advising for entrepreneurs on everything from ideation, early stage, pitch coaching, all the way through to kind of some of the cultural stuff that folks are chatting about on that HR front today. So I'm really happy to be here. Good luck to everybody pitching today.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Charlene and Shay. I've had the absolute pleasure and honor of getting to know Charlene and Shay over the last few years. And I'm so excited to be here, being able to share the stage with you here today, and really appreciate you being here, carving this time out of your day to provide your expertise and insights to this community. So thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. I also want to say, again, one more shout out. I know we've had quite a few more people join us over on YouTube now. So just want to say hello to those who are over on YouTube. And I see your comments coming in. We have people joining us from Amsterdam, from Trinidad and Tobago. We have people coming in from Mumbai in India, Los Angeles, Vancouver, Saskatchewan. So really incredible. Make sure to all of our pitchers, I know that you're kind of hanging out over on YouTube at various times as well. So make sure to go over there and say hello. We have people from all over the world here right now. And thank you so much for joining us. Everyone's really excited. They're saying best of luck to the fabulous founders pitching. Good luck, rooting for you all. Thrilled to listen. Good luck to all the startup founders pitching. We have a new entrepreneur here who's excited to soak in all the stories. So really excited. Thank you to all of our pitchers who are also here and sharing those stories. Okay, so we're going to get going with our pitches. As you can see, we have these 5 incredible women who are going to be pitching here today, again, from all across North America as it is today. And we have this one that's originally, no, not originally Chicago, but the company originally Chicago, but she is going to be pitching here from Montreal today. So we have a nice, interesting cross section going on. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump into the appropriate window because I seem to have made my Zoom go away for some reason. There you are. All right, tech is fun. Okay, so our first pitcher up today is Algie. I feel like I should have asked you how to pronounce that. Alessandra.
It is Algie, so
Algie,
you got it right.
Perfect. So Alessandra is the COO at Algie and is calling in from, were you calling in from Alberta today?
I am calling from Montreal today, actually.
Great. Yes. So this is the thing. I'm getting all these messages. I get like the forum saying I'm in Alberta, I'm in Chicago, and then they're all like, we're actually all in Montreal. So calling in from Montreal. And the exciting news that we wanted to share of Algie's is that they just won the McGill Dobson Cup, which I don't actually know what that is, but apparently it's very exciting. What is it?
It is the pitch competition that is hosted by McGill every year. So we won first place yesterday, which was really exciting.
Congratulations. Amazing.
Thank you.
Cool. Alrighty. So yes, when you're ready, we're going to ask the other pitchers here to please turn off your video. And Alessandra, when you're ready to bring up your pitch deck, then take a deep breath. And once you start pitching, Isabel will start we'll start the timer and we'll let you know when you kind of have about 30 seconds left. And we won't be too mean, but we will cut you off at about 3.5 minutes if you go over that time. So
awesome.
Yeah, please
okay.
Feel free.
Oh. All right, we can see the slides.
You can see the slides.
Awesome. I'm concerned for the future of our planet. And when I started looking into ways I can be more sustainable, it all came down to the way that I was eating. But I'm anemic and allergic to soy. So with the alternatives available, it's nearly impossible for me to adopt a plant-based diet. And I'm not alone. 1/3 of Canadians are going plant-based and most find it overwhelming and difficult. Algie is here to revolutionize the food landscape by creating delicious, purpose-driven food products centered around spirulina algae. So why spirulina? It's been dubbed the food of the future because it's 70% complete protein. 1 teaspoon gives you 8% of your daily iron, and it's high in many other essential vitamins and minerals. It's also incredibly sustainable to grow as it has a negligent resource demand and a 2-to-1 carbon capture. Our first product is the Impact Bar, an unprocessed plant-based energy bar. And in one 55-gram bar, there's 12 grams of protein, 30% of your daily iron, and it removes 14 grams of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. We started our journey at farmers markets in 2019, validating spirulina food products after realizing that almost no one is innovating in the algae product space. After lots of validation, we decided to pursue the Impact Bar as our introductory product. Currently, we're selling these bars online and in stores in Canmore, Alberta. And to date, we've sold about 4,000 of these MVP bars. We've just finished developing 2 new flavors of the bars to be launched in May and have secured 10 retail locations in Calgary and Banff for our launch. This summer, we're going to continue to promote the product and establish relationships with more stores to be in 100 stores by the end of the summer. Moving into next year, we will be expanding our distribution into BC and Central Canada and working with a distributor to help us scale up this distribution. Our initial customers are endurance athletes, people who love participating in outdoor activities for a long time. And we're targeting them through social media campaigns, through an ambassador network full of loyal people who absolutely love our products and our brand, and sponsorship of relevant events like trail rides and races. Now, looking at the bar landscape, there are a ton of other bars out there. But at Algae, we have intentionally selected our ingredients so that they're clean and simple, and they enable us to create not only a delicious and nutrient-rich product, but also a sustainable product.
30 seconds.
Algae was founded by 2 students with a shared passion for food and sustainability. And we have a strong team of advisors and mentors working with us to help build an impactful brand. But long term, we don't want to just be a bar company. We want to create a wide variety of food products centered around algae that make it easy for everyone to eat sustainably. Today, we're asking for connections to buyers at sporting good and grocery stores in the Calgary area. And we're also asking for all of you to give our product a try and let us know what you think by connecting with the links below. I'm Alessandra, co-founder of Algae, and I'm asking you to help make it easy for an anemic with a soy allergy to eat sustainably. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to ask you to close down your screen sharing, Alessandra. Fantastic job. What a beautiful pitch. I'm really excited to hear what Shay and Charlene have to say. I'm going to start with Charlene. Would you like to provide your feedback?
Yeah, first off, great pitch. And I'll definitely context that my feedback is really about polishing and tightening. The story, it's not surprising you've already placed first in a pitch competition. You really nailed all the key points. So just from like a polishing and tightening, a couple of things. One, just small disconnect. You kind of led with your own personal story, which is really great. And then you kind of talked about your customers being high performance athletes. So I think you can maybe broaden that first like problem statement, and you can kind of say, actually, you mentioned 1/3 are going plant-based, most are overwhelmed, most and all are kind of fluffy terms and pitches. So it's like many people are overwhelmed for all of these reasons, including myself, who's anemic and soy. And you can maybe mention your athletes there, but then it gives me a little bit of idea of where you're expanding. Because at first I'm like, I'm not anemic, I'm not an athlete, and I just want to connect with your product a little bit more. So again, just a tightening thing. And on that, I wanted a little bit more information about the algae. So I've heard of it kind of, but a little bit of education around that algae. Like, is this something that you've taken out of the ocean yourself? Is this something that's been around for a long time? Just give me some of not just the value of it, but like where it's in the world. Is it safe? Are you guys just making this in your basement, homemade kombucha style, or what's going on there? So I'd want a little bit about that. And then just last, on that competitive analysis, you just say we're clean and simple. But when I look at that competitive analysis, there's other people that are clean and simple too. So I didn't really understand, or I think I understand, but in your presentation, just really getting clear on your value prop, because I think your value prop is more about the nutrients, not clean and simple ingredients. And then, if you're going to be sustainable and nutrient, make sure you're comparing apples to apples or bars to bars on your competitive analysis of why you're more sustainable and more nutrient, not because Laura bars, I know very well, I eat them. That's their whole thing, clean and simple. It's 4 ingredients, and I don't know if they're sustainable or not either. So just making sure you're really clear on your value prop. But like I said, those are all really tightening up things. It was a great pitch, and congratulations. And I'm kind of stoked to learn a little bit more and maybe try a bar or 2. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlene. How about yourself, Shay?
Well, Charlene said just about everything I was going to say. I was like, oh, checking off my list. I'm like, okay, she said that already. So I don't have too much. The only thing, you didn't mention the taste. And I wonder where in that diagram is taste, like sustainability, nutrient, how algae to me isn't that tasty, but I don't know. Maybe it is. I did look at the different flavors that you had, and it's like, okay, that there are these different flavors. What I also liked is that you already talk about how you're going to scale and the different areas. I mean, I don't know if those were the areas that you wanted to scale, and you showed the milk and you showed something else, seaweed or something else. I can't remember now. I thought that was very good to add that in. Like, this is a scalable business. We're not just going to stay with bars. We're going to move forward. Yeah, overall, it was really good. I thought everything what Caroline said was, exactly what I was thinking. Your story was really good. I love how you opened up with a personal story. I also saw the disconnect between anemic and athlete. I didn't, I was like, oh, okay, maybe you are an athlete and you didn't mention it, or your other founder is an athlete. There was a slight disconnect that why are they the target audience and not people like who aren't athletes or who just want to stay healthy or something to that effect, if that makes sense.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I really loved, I wrote the thing I really wrote down was you had this plan to scale and you talked about your next milestones and your vision. And so often we see that part missed from pitches. So really cool that you talked about that in multiple ways throughout the pitch. Love that. Amazing. It sounds like you have people who are already I'd like to be a customer, or at least I'd like to learn more. And that's really the purpose, especially a 3-minute pitch. The purpose is getting that second conversation and getting questions going. So I think great job, Alessandra. And as it's our Amplify pitch, I'd love to know, how can our community here today support you? How can we amplify what you're doing?
I think just kind of getting the word out, as kind of been touched on. No one really knows what spirulina is, but kind of in the next year, we're expecting it to grow and to be everywhere. So we're really trying to get ahead of that big trend. So just by kind of sharing our company and this is what we're doing and this is what spirulina is, would be a huge value to us.
Okay, fantastic. Alrighty, so everyone like and share this pitch event, of course, but also go over to algefoods.com and head to Instagram and Facebook at algefoods. And there you can share all the things. Even those little kind of comments really do help in the world of digital marketing today. So more people can see what Algae Foods is doing. Thank you so much, Alessandra. Really appreciate you being here today and pitching with us. It was lovely to hear your story.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Of course. All righty. So next up we have Humaxa. I really should have asked about these company names. I didn't even think about it.
That's right.
Humaxa. Okay. So we have Caroline Pierre, who's going to be joining us here right now, the co-founder and CEO of Humaxa, calling in from California. So the only one actually calling in from outside of Canada here today. So welcome.
Go easy on me.
Well, and of course, Shay is in Amsterdam as well. I just moved back from over in Ireland to Vancouver, so I'm also here in Canada, but lots of people in the audience from outside of Canada, which is amazing. Okay, so I do have a little bit of exciting news here that you have shared with us, which is that you have a study launching next month and spots are filling quickly. Okay, so the study looks at the quality of employee feedback data by comparing data gathered through a traditional employee engagement survey and data gathered through conversational AI. So they're looking to work with some additional organizations. If you're interested, there's going to be a link coming on that, but that's always really exciting to kind of be digging into research. I'm a big research person, so that's a very exciting news. And congratulations on that upcoming milestone of yours. So same as with Algae, once you're feeling comfortable, please do feel free to start, and Isabel will start the clock as soon as you start speaking.
Okay. So my name's Carolyn Pierre. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Humaxa, and we have developed Max. Max is the AI assistant, kind of like Siri or Alexa, that predicts and prevents workforce issues. So let me ask you, what issues are hiding just beneath the surface within your workforce? Do you know? Employees tend to avoid talking about awkward conversations about implicit bias or their mental health or their job performance, but not knowing about these issues cost more than $1.6 trillion just last year. But how do you know about things that no one's talking about? Max knows. Max is our AI assistant. In this example, Max is talking to an employee about their job growth, and the employee is responding, well, sometimes I feel like highly qualified people get overlooked for promotions. Max responds with, hey, I'm sorry to hear that, but mentoring is a great way to grow or to help other people grow within the company. Would you like to participate in a mentoring activity? And the employee says, yes, I would. I would like to be mentored in leadership. And you can talk to Max in both Slack and Microsoft Teams. We see that workers are about 50 to 75% more likely to respond to Max than any type of survey. For leadership, Max will warn you when data starts to go the wrong direction so that you can do something about it. Our client feedback really tells the whole story. They're finding things out about their workforce that they never knew. And our clients' results speak for themselves. Just within the first few months, they're seeing a 33% better employee engagement and about a $48,000 a year savings per 100 employees. We've got founder market fit. I got my start at a small HR tech startup called Pro Business. We grew the company and it was acquired by ADP. I left ADP to found Humaxa with my co-founder, Guillermo Borges, and Jennifer Gargolinsky, who's our CRO.
30 seconds.
So we see ourselves as a uniting force within this competitive landscape, making our platform open and making our APIs public, sitting at the intersection of employee insights and workforce optimization. And our vision is to be SaaS for workforce insights, moving from workforce engagement to sales acceleration to customer engagement. Our go-to-market is focused on where we're getting the highest return. And remote work is helping us with traction, with paid accounts, more than 10,000 users on the platform, and 1.4 million in our pipeline today. So please join us. You maximize your workforce and never worry about your workforce issues ever again. We're also looking for product feedback and partners. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carolyn, for your pitch. I'm going to ask you to close down screen sharing there. There we go. Alrighty, so I know both Shay and Charlene, you both have experience working with people on the people side of things. So this time I'm going to head on over to Shay and ask you to contribute your thoughts.
Caroline, I thought it was a really interesting pitch, just really bringing in the AI concept, which is such a big thing that's going on right now. And it's becoming even more prevalent that AI is going to be part of everything that we do. I started off in HR in Y2K. I know I'm showing my age, but that's when we came into tech and we were making things even more techy then. So seeing where it's progressing is really nice. I did some notes that I have are you start off slowly and then you sped up at some of the crucial slides where I thought, okay, I want to see that data. And then it went so fast. I was like, oh, I'm slow. I need to read faster. So maybe
we're running out of time.
Yeah, I figured that's what it was, but I was like, oh, wait, no, can we go back? But yeah, that comes with practice on getting that better. When you first said about the 1 trillion, that's how much it costs. It doesn't feel personal enough. Like, how much does that cost my company versus it costs like all the companies 1.6 trillion? That feels like, okay, but it's not costing me 1.6 trillion. Like, making that personal touch. With everything that's going on in the world about gender, what is the word? Not gender equality, but how we name ourselves, and you called it Max, it just feels that you're missing you might be missing something. I could be wrong. And especially when we're trying to fill in this language of binary, non-binary, binary, cisgender, and all those things. And then it's called Max. Maybe I'm not telling you to change the name, but maybe there's a story that you can bring into that to explain that, because as we keep having these I know I keep having these conversations of, I can't just say her, I have to say her, them. And I can't just say, I have to really be careful about my language, and maybe there's a way to pull in a story to explain that better, or I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up. I don't have an answer. Other thing that I didn't hear you say anything about was privacy. And that's also another big topic. When I'm sharing my information with this AI, where does that information go? And who else gets to see it? And create, especially when you're talking about creating a safe space and people feeling comfortable to share that information. You didn't mention that at all. Maybe it's there and I just didn't hear it. I'm running out of time. I probably, but overall, I thought you did a really good job. I think they're just little things to fill in. That's all I want to say.
Thank you for your feedback, Shay.
Thank you, Shay. Super interesting about the naming element. I didn't even cross my mind. But I did assume that Max was a male
so that's
character, even though Max is a gender neutral name.
Yeah, we chose Max because it was gender neutral. So it's very interesting that it's not
maybe like the icon of the robot doesn't look gender neutral or something. I'm not sure. Anyways, really interesting in my brain. It's interesting that we went there. That's obviously our implicit bias as well, kind of acting in there. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, Charlene, how about yourself?
Awesome. Well, I mean, a lot of ground to cover in a 3-minute pitch. So great job, like a lot of education. And this was an investor pitch. So you're adding in all those opportunities and traction stuff. So yeah, definitely not an easy task. So I also caught up on the Max thing like immediately. And I don't know if it's maybe because although it's gender neutral, it is typically a white name, quote unquote. So maybe some of that there. You know, I always think things like Siri's like brilliant because Siri's like not a name. I think most cultures and stuff are really associated with a human. It's just kind of a robot name. So just something to consider on that. But I do love how like your maximize humans. Like I liked that play, but that Max maybe it doesn't have to be the same guy. I don't know, or girl. So yeah, so that was that. So I mean, a couple things. It definitely prompted product questions for me as an HR person, your potential customer. So I would love to the study. And I think some of it is good because that revolves around more communication for you, but also the privacy thing definitely went like, ooh. And my other kind of like, gut HR trigger was you talked about that the solution that Max provided. So he went in, he asked someone and great, they feel comfortable talking to a robot, but Max provided a solution. And I was unclear if that solution was from the company, because like I don't have a mentorship program and I certainly don't need a robot telling my team they're getting mentored. So just that like making sure if Max is going to be solution oriented and not just collect feedback to deliver to executives, that's either clearly stated that you work with me in my programs to prompt people in the right direction, or potentially problematic product feature, in my opinion. And then the other thing is the value prop in general. So one, immediately as soon as entrepreneur is like, there's no competitors in our quadrant, I'm like, it's just a no. Sorry. I just don't believe there's no one doing anything like it. And also, or that you've labeled your value prop kind of interestingly, because it's you decide, your value prop on that quadrant. And also the value prop I didn't get so much because you talked about engagement. So I was like, cool. I don't ever expect my surveys to be 100%. So the engagement piece didn't really like resonate as this groundbreaking thing. It was great. It was like a checkbox, like, whoa, people are more likely to engage with Max. Awesome. So what? How does that actually improve my business case and all that sort of thing? So just a little bit tighter there. And that was pretty much it. So just kind of tightening up some of those areas. I like that you talk. I don't remember. There's a lot of information, which again, only 3 minutes. So I don't remember if it really talked about kind of the market value from that investor pitch landscape. I can't remember. It didn't stick out at me. This is like, you talked about the money we lose as businesses from that turnover, which is good. But what's kind of the landscape of spendable money? What's the total addressable market? The Samtom, whatever that thing is, the circles. So that's my feedback, but overall good. And please do reach out. I'd love to dive in deeper and give you some feedback on the product itself.
Thank you so much, Charlene. I appreciate it.
Amazing. Yeah. That was just like a really quick, tiny little masterclass from 2 like HR experts. So you just got drilled hard on the HR side of things.
Absolutely. Yes.
That's great. Actually, there is a company that we're working with called Checking In, and they do surveys on mental health. And he always specifies upfront that employees own their own data and employers get the aggregate level data to inform the programming that they develop and like the actions they take. So that's like one of the first things he always says. He also comes from an investment background. So that's one of the reasons he's like privacy, privacy, privacy. So that is a really important thing to get up front there. But check them out. This is Canadian, a Vancouver-based company. Checking in, Sean Burke is the founder, but very, very cool company as well too, that are kind of specifically working on mental health. But yeah, really interesting. Neato. All right, thank you so much. And as your community here today, what can we do to help amplify what you're doing?
I got at the very end, I would love feedback. It's free to try Max for less than 20 people, and would just love to get product feedback. Yeah, I mean, our privacy is completely transparent. We follow all the highest privacy. We didn't talk about it. I didn't talk about it. But yeah, we do follow all the privacy standards. And our philosophy is always that our clients own their data. I have no access to our clients' data. I can't get to it if I want to. The only reason that we know feedback from our clients is because they share it with us, the kinds of things they're hearing. But the example I gave about somebody not understanding how to grow their job, that's real, but it's because they told me, not because, So anyway, we'd just love to, if people are willing to give us a chance, give us a try, give us some feedback. And we're also really open to partnerships. So our vision, as I kind of mentioned, is to have an open platform. So for example, if there is a really strong demand to have sustainable algae bars at the workplace, theoretically, Max could ask about that and then provide, like, oh, this company needs to be more focused on sustainability. That could be something, because it's very customizable. And then based on that feedback, we could offer up third-party services as well. So very open to partnerships.
Okay, cool.
I just want to clarify. My feedback about privacy was more the employee's privacy. Of like, does Max's responsibility go to the HR person or the manager, or is it aggregate data? That was
right. Oh, okay, got it.
Yep. Two sides of privacy.
Yeah. That's always going to be important for getting information from employees to help them. Is who does it go to? Cool. Alrighty. So if you want to learn more about Humaxa, you can go to humaxa.com. You can also head over to Twitter at Humaxa Inc. And Instagram is the same at Humaxa Inc. So go and like and share and provide feedback. Check it out. It sounds really interesting what you're doing. So thank you so much, Carolyn. We really appreciate you being here today.
I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
You're welcome. Alrighty. So third up, this one I don't have any trouble pronouncing. It is Threading Change. We're going to have Sophia Yang joining us, who's the founder and executive director of Threading Change, joining us here today from Vancouver, BC. And it sounds like Threading Change has just been so busy and doing so many incredible things lately. I have this list of all the exciting news, but some things you can check out right away is the Rising Youth podcast coming out on why fashion is an intersectional issue. And that's going to be coming out soon. Was that you, Sophia, that was on that podcast?
Yep, and that's coming out later today, I believe.
There you go, very soon, coming out very soon. And then you're also talking about how you have a blog post that you wrote for BCCIC, which stands for, what is that?
British Columbia Council for International Cooperation, and that was a feedback blog post to attending the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women.
Yes, and actually I don't have your latest exciting news on my list here. Do you want to share what you're doing later today?
Yes, we just got, I'm supposed to do a DJ session later today, but got canceled because COVID restrictions of indoors. But we also recently got contracted to do a research project with UBC. So that was very exciting.
Awesome. Very cool. All right. Thanks so much, Sophia. Very exciting things. So we're going to invite you to share even more about Threading Change so we can all learn about it. Whenever you're ready, please do share your screen, take that deep breath and start your pitch.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm just going to get my timer going as well. So, let's see. Is everybody able to see my screen? Yes. Okay. Awesome. Hi everyone, my name is Sophia. I'm the founder and executive director of 13 Change. We're a youth-led ethical fashion not-for-profit. My journey starts when I attended the United Nations Climate Change Conference COP25 in December 2019. Up on this stage are supposed to be people representing the global fashion industry, yet they're only from countries in Europe and also North America, with only one gentleman in China. It is now that I realize the global fashion ecosystem is very much global North driving very greedy consumption patterns based on capitalism at the expense of a very disenfranchised global South. When it comes to fashion, is the waste issue. There's the human rights and also labor and gender injustice issue. But most of all, there's the issue of for who and doing what. With right now the Uyghur population in China undergoing mass slavery, we have to do something. And so another big point is the clothing industry is projected to be $80 billion in 2029, with the secondhand market being just a third of that. It's clear that there's many different forms of clothing and where it's going, and we want to be a part of that story today. At 13 Change, our mission is the 6 Fs, a feminist, fossil fuel-free fashion future. We stand out because we have a robust focus on intersectionality and also systemic change in the fashion industry. Being youth-led, we've been into spaces where we felt credited, but also where we have felt excluded. So there's 3 things that we mainly focus on. The first one is education and awareness through our Textile Talks international webinar series with a campaign launching tomorrow. We're also trying right now to have a global innovation and storytelling map going up of all the clothing stores and brands around the world that have a take-back program, a recycling program, and ones that have the highest ethical standards. And lastly, we're currently also trying to kickstart our SDG Synergy Ambassadors program, which is linking students and youth in fashion industries, different fashion schools, to large fashion industry stores and companies in order to have them help research on the SDG model. So how we're doing this is we're going to be having SDGs categorized into 4 different sections: biodiversity, equality, innovation when it comes to economic and sustainability, and also sustainability when it comes to responsible consumption and production. With 13 Change in the middle, we're piloting a model for fashion schools where youth are able to feel the agency of how their research is directly influencing change, where companies and different fashion NGOs are getting what youth want and what designers are currently designing for. Because when I spoke to someone from Ritzia, they said the biggest problem right now is that designers are designing for profit and not for circularity. Obviously, I'm not able to do all this alone. Today, we are thankful to collaborate with all these great people: UBC Sustainability, Van City, UN Environment Program, and also Sustainable Apparel Coalition, which is all made possible by my amazing team. Some of them are watching right now, and we are from 11 different countries, all youth under the age of 30, driving change in the fashion industry. So what do we need? We need about $50,000 to hire 4 SD researchers to kickstart our SDG program, and also some funding to start up our clothing review center and design space in the future. With your need and your support, I would love it if some of you come out to our webinar series starting tomorrow called Clothes Busters, which is busting and demystifying myths in the fashion industry. This is Sophia. Thank you so much for listening.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sophia. Really interesting story. So right now I'm going to pop back over to Charlene, or you're right here for me. Charlene, I'm going to invite you to provide your feedback.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, first off, Sophia, congratulations on just your resume, your credentials. Just what you're up to is absolutely amazing, and you're clearly making an impact, and you're busting through that kind of sometimes that startup bubble, especially that sometimes young people, as you're navigating all this for the first time, and really like you're positioning yourself to make a huge impact. So my feedback is mainly on the storytelling side. So definitely first point, slow down. It was a lot of information, and you kicked off speaking really fast. I'm also a fast talker, so I totally get it. Just something to be mindful of. The other thing that right off, so the other thing was that first thing about you kind of just went in and went greedy, and it gave me a pause. You're talking to investors, you're talking about profit, and I'm a huge believer in bringing together social good for profit, the B Corp, right? Not everything has to be a nonprofit. We can make good money. We can make money not on the back of the environment and people. So just when you kind of qualified with greedy, it just jerked me, and it just gave me a bit of a visceral thing. And I think you can just speak about the challenges without you qualifying them with a word that has a value in it. So I was just that kind of, take or leave it. The other thing is, lots going on. This is definitely like a pitch that's going to take some refinement to really drill down to your story. So you're tackling lots of issues. I actually don't really know what your organization does. Like, I'm not sure if you have a mission or a value statement, and then kind of like, here's your arms that are doing all the things leading up. Like, I just need that condensed information. I am really going here, no clue. Like, are you a resource platform? Are you like a group that's influencing the world? I just really was unsure. And just like I said, it's more of a storytelling issue. I know that those elements all come together nicely for you, and you only have 3 minutes and one deck. Actually, one of the things I did love that maybe you could kind of bring up to the top is you mentioned that when you talk to someone from Aritzia, that they said that right now the challenge is that people are designing for profit. Period. And I think actually that kind of summed up all the stuff you talked about at the top, that like currently in the fashion industry, people are designing for profit. And as a result, here's all the problems with that. There's environmental problems. There's problems with, slave labor and all that kind of stuff going on. There's all these problems with it. And then also youth, I'm going to assume youth are a huge target market of fashion, and they're also not being represented. So I think you have like the building blocks of a really great tight story. And it's a hard story to tell in only 3 minutes with one pitch deck with just like everything you're trying to do. So you might even have to get creative with like certain graphs or visuals that give me that snapshot. But overall, I'm definitely leaving. Wow, you're up to some amazing things. A little bit unclear what those things are, but definitely leaving me wanting more.
Thank you. That's super helpful. Really appreciate it.
The pacing thing was funny. I was laughing because like I also talk very quickly, and Shay always nags me about it. I think, have I been okay today? I've been really working. Thank you. Finally, this is the first event ever that Shay's been at with me that she's not had to been like, Mel, just take it down a notch. So I feel you on the talking fast thing. And I know Charlene and I did an interview once, and I imagine how horrible that must have been for people who don't like fast talking. Or
oh yeah, I was the one you were interviewing, so I can imagine
exactly.
like putting it down to 0.75 time.
Yes, so I feel that pain. Alrighty, Shay, would love to hear your thoughts.
Sophia, so inspiring that you're doing this with other people who are under 30 and really trying to make a difference. I'm amazed about the attention that you're getting, and that the support that you are getting from the partners that you're working with. I think that's a really good job of sharing that this, not only are you doing this, but you're not doing it alone. There are other people who are paying attention and working with you. I agree with Charlene, though, that I didn't know what it was you were doing yet. And maybe you said it and it went by really fast. But I think what you're doing needs to be super, super clear. And maybe even something that if you're a fast talker, maybe it's something you need to repeat a few times. So if I missed it the first time, I get it the second or the third or the fourth time around. Initially, I think you started off with a personal story, and I might have forgotten, but I didn't get a chance to feel it yet. You had the image, the picture of you, and you went through it so fast, I didn't get a chance to feel an emotion about it. And maybe you could develop that a little bit better, share that a little bit more. I already talked about the talking fast, the personal story. I don't know why to invest. I don't know what we would get as an investor, what we would get out of it. Like, and I also don't know what is the pain point for me. Like Charlene was talking about the investors and calling them greedy, but also I think there was, at least I missed it, or maybe it was in there, but there wasn't a what's in it for me factor as an investor. Why should I do this with you? Why should I invest with you? I know you have that story there because you wouldn't get so much support and help there. It just didn't come across in the pitch. So that why you, what do I get out of it is basically what I think was missing. And overall that emotion, I felt like there was an emotional part to it, but I didn't even get a chance to feel it. And to be like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I like that. But overall, super inspiring. You're going to go places. Your team is great. You wouldn't have gotten this far without it. So kudos to you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. And yeah, having such an international team has been amazing, especially youth. Like we're not the future with the current generation. We're really trying to do a lot. I agree with everything you two both said. There's a story, there's the emotion there. It's interesting because I was cutting down slides like crazy and I still had so many. I think I just need to be very like vigilant with cutting and just crafting the story a bit better. Really great feedback. I love that part about mentioning Ritzia first. I'll definitely do that in the future. Thank you so much for your support.
Yeah, this is the kind of story, like Shay was saying, having a moment where you just pause and let things sink in. That's going to be like a lot of practice, especially if you do talk fast, like getting that practice in of like really slowing it down for this kind of a story. It's always good to slow down in general, but there's these like hard hitting kind of stories. And you had some images that were like, ooh, yeah, like I get that, but I didn't get to sit with it. So, and I think like what I was hearing from Charlene and Shay is often we say in a pitch to think about why you, why this, why now. And maybe some of those why elements got a little bit missed, maybe because it was fast, maybe it's because you're like, it's your baby and you're like, I'm gonna include everything. And it's really difficult to kind of tear it apart. Especially if you've developed like a much longer pitch and you're really trying to get it down to the 3 minutes, it can be difficult to get to that. But really ensuring we walk around away understanding what it is you do and why you, we get the why you and that your team and all those incredible things that we're all like, we're inspired, we love this. So the why you is there, except for that why you personal element, that personal story. The why this, that was maybe a little bit missing, and why now we got it, because I think we get why fashion is not good for the world, like the fast fashion industry and a lot of the like that consumer driven kind of fashion piece, or what did you call it? Something driven? Money driven. I don't know how you said it. You said it more elegantly, but money driven fashion piece. Like I think we get, like we've heard that story that it's important now. So yeah, why you, why this, why now, and making sure we are tapping on each one. So
can I have one more question?
Yes.
Just a question. Because of 2020, so many people are buying less clothes, and I don't know about some of you, but sometimes I wear the same thing 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row. No one's seen me. I've had like a couple
3 days in a row. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if that will affect us going in the future. I know for some people it is, in terms of, do I really need to buy an outfit, or, you know, no one's judging me because I wore whatever. And I don't know if you have already considered that, or if that's already in what you're doing, but I just want to throw that other question out there, because 2020 did affect the fashion industry. People were buying less, and also being a little bit more, at least what I've read, being a bit more sustainable. There's a company that has a dress that if you wear it for 100 days, you get $100 off the next dress that you buy, something like that. So there are people that are taking advantage of the effects of 2020, or companies, not people, companies. Just wanted to add that one.
Definitely. Should I respond to this, or do we?
Isabel, do we have time for a response?
We have time. Yeah.
Okay. Great point, Shay. So you might think people are buying less, but I know lots of conversation, people thinking like, oh, when things reopen, what am I going to wear to this festival? What am I going to wear when I'm traveling? There's going to be a lot of consumer like crashing into that real person experience once again. But even if people are buying less, it doesn't mean the clothing companies aren't currently making clothes. There's like millions of Uyghurs in China right now is being enslaved, and Zara had a statement on the website saying we don't believe in forced labor. They just took it down 2 days ago with no explanation. So a lot of these big companies, like greenwashing is a huge aspect of how they make money. So I think I'm probably going to try and communicate a little bit better as well, is even if the individual consumer isn't necessarily buying more, it doesn't mean the clothing production is halting. So it's important for us to repurpose the clothing we already have. And that's what I was trying to get to at the end as well. But again, I feel like I spoke very quickly. So I'll make that point very clear in the future as well. But yeah, there's lots of clothing being consumed and lots of underpaid women in a lot of countries, which is a huge problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
A really nice just addition, kind of going off of Shay's point, as well as if there are organizations that you are working with or have deemed kind of potential partnerships or are kind of aligning with your cause, even giving them a highlight, it kind of further grounds your stuff within industry, which is going to be your part of your battle, not just getting investor money, but then aligning with industry. So, you know, giving a shout out, as Shay said, to those companies that are doing the things the right way, or have started making change, or, you know, big or small, you know, however you can work that either into your pitch or just maybe just general business partnership advice, just a little bit there.
Competition is a good thing. It means that there's space for you. Interest in what you're doing as well. So, alrighty, thank you so much. Clearly, this is a topic that's interesting to talk about, and I look forward to your podcast that you have going on later today, or going live later today. But what else can we as your community do to amplify the work that you're doing?
Great question. So we have a webinar series coming up starting tomorrow. It's for the month of April in paying homage to Fashion Revolution Week. It's called Clothesbusters, kind of like inspired by Ghostbusters. Is essentially a series of webinars and campaign strategies of how you can be a conscious consumer. So the one tomorrow is on sustainable spring cleaning. It's at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I can drop a link in the chat. We'll love if you could amplify our campaign pieces, attend the webinars. We also have a petition happening right now to write to your local government on abolishing products from China that are made by people in the Uyghur region, and also a policy on more extended producer responsibility for companies as well. I'll link all that in the chat.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sophia. So if you want to learn more about Threading Change, go to threadingchange.org. You can also head over to Twitter and Instagram at Threading Change and check out what they're doing. I think it's really interesting. And as Shay and Charlene said, very inspiring. And as you said, you are not just the future, but you are the current. This is your lives that you're living right now. And really excited to see where you go, where this takes you and your company or organization. Thank you so much, Sophia. Alrighty, so for our fourth pitch, I would like to invite to the stage Kitchenet.
Yeah, you're pretty close.
How do we say it?
It's Kitchenet.
Kitchenet, okay.
Like Kitchener, but like I
yes,
don't know.
Okay.
Every time I try to type my company, it gets into Kitchener. They autocorrect.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
one of the goal.
Yeah. Kitchenet. Okay. And we'll learn what that means, I'm sure, in the next 3 minutes. But I'd like to introduce Trista, who's the founder and CEO of Kitchenet, who's joining us today from Montreal. And the exciting piece of news that we're sharing here today is that Kitchenet just completed the Impact Startup Visa Accelerator program with Spring.is. Oh, that's exciting. That's one of our partners. I just read this right now, and it's amazing. Fantastic. We'll have to give Spring a shout out for that. Very cool. So is that how you came up to Canada then?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Amazing. This is one of those ones that tricked me where I thought they were down in Chicago or something like that. And they're just kidding. We're up in Montreal. Amazing. All right. So Trista, when you're ready, feel free to share your screen, take that deep breath, and start your pitch.
All right. Oh no, sorry. That was not sharing. Cool. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Trista. I'm CEO and founder of Kitchenet, and I'm here to bring fresh food and people closer. I work as a microfinance fellow when I first started my career. And by working with the urban farmers, I learned that about 30% of the harvest are wasted because when they're negotiating alternative sales channels, they oftentimes waste a lot of produce. At the same time, when you look at the office these days, while people are trying to build very healthy offices, these apples are oftentimes uneaten because the options people bring are just not so great. So you're looking at two types of food waste problem that can sum up to almost $34.2 billion industry. And what we want to do is to combine these two channels together to solve a problem. Not only it is bringing healthy, but also empowers the local community. So what we do is we use a curation approach. About 50% of our product are curated by sourcing directly from farmer, and the rest are sourced to increase the option that people can have. We also carefully, mindfully portion our product. So at the end of the day, when office get the product, it is local, it is healthy, it is fresh, and there's no waste. Our goal is not only dropping off the box at your office, but also kicking off that repeatable process. And that's how we significantly differentiate from other delivery services. Because we curate our fruits, we're able to create this craveable behavior for office to seek out healthy snacks. As a result, by studying our customers, we learned that offices who are craving for sustainable behavior are actually willing to pay more to get rid of the food waste. What a great thing. And as a result, we're able to have really healthy margins as a business, with 50% of the income goes back into gross margin and 25% of our income goes to invest into the local farmers. So we started our journey back in Chicago in 2019, and we acquired 60 offices on a month-to-month basis. We built from 0 to 1 and from $0 to $1,000 monthly reoccurring revenue. When COVID happened, half of them decided to stay with us, and we also venture out into serving the film crafts. So those are the crews that's keeping us sustainable. And that also brought me to Chicago, to Montreal. So we're envisioning to continue our journey in the next 3 more cities, including Montreal, Toronto, and Boston. And we're currently trying to launch in Canada. Who's behind the team are majorly me. I am really driving the company, but I can't do that without a great group of mentors, both in the US as well as in Canada. And we're here today because I'm trying to seek out some introduction. If you know any local farmers, food service suppliers, film set craft service, or food entrepreneurs, we'd love an introduction. We wanted to kick off the conversation. So as we are reviving from the COVID situation, we can also revive our office. Thank you.
Nice job, Trista. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I can ask you, I can ask you to stop sharing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect. Alrighty, so I'm going to jump over to Shay this time. I'm just going back and forth at this point. So Shay, if you'd like to kick us off.
Great story, Trista. I love the story about sustainable food and bringing it back in. I love that this is not only just reducing food waste, but also giving back to the farmers, because that's an industry that often gets overlooked. So I really, from a concept, I think it's a really great concept of what you're doing. I miss a little bit of the, I feel like there's more story needed. I'm not quite sure what exactly is missing, but I feel like I'm missing something in the story. I like how you address the problem. I like how you come up with the solution. When I realized that your clientele is or companies, because you're giving the food to them, I thought there was something, I missed a connection. I don't know what it was, but something happened. We were talking about the food, and then suddenly we were talking about companies, and I thought, okay, that's who your client is, and that's where. Someone else brought up the word, Charlene brought up the word greedy, and I noticed it in your presentation as well. Whenever you're marketing and pitching and so forth, you want to talk about pain or pleasure. And you don't always have to use greed is such a personal and can come across like a really harsh word. And I'm repeating a little bit what Charlene has already said earlier, but there are other words to use that can still, project that kind of emotion that what they're doing is not the right thing.
I see. Okay. Yeah. I was thinking when you're saying greedy, where does it's the greedy demand. So what I was trying to say is people want bang of the bucks purchase, right? Like when you're buying bulk, it's cheap, but as a result, you ended up accumulate food waste. So that's what I meant. And I can definitely rephrase that. That's definitely a good suggestion. Yeah.
That's good. I mean, it's not, I don't think it would be a deal breaker, but it could be just, like rub people the wrong way. Overall, I think what you're doing is great. And what you're trying to get to is great. I'm amazed that you're doing it by yourself, because it seems like a lot of work. I was going to ask, how are you going to every city? But it's that you yourself have to find the local farmers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so we are in charge of customer acquisition and marketing, all the branding and the curation of the product. Right. But we, in some way, is using a franchise type of model. So our food service and carriers, those are our partners. So my Chicago partner can actually do most of the things that from sourcing to like taking care of the farmer customers to deliver the product. So those are taken care of. We are the business side of the partner. So right now it's just me, but I'm also seeking a great team to continue support my effort. Yeah.
I don't think you'll have a problem finding people that want to be a part of that initiative, food, and also giving back to farmers and making a sustainable business. I think that's a great model. I just was wondering how, from a scalability, how going to every city and sourcing every local farmer, I wasn't sure how that would work, but it seems like you might have something there.
That is where our curation, which is in some way a little bit of a secret of our business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I think it's just like, so when we're getting that feedback in a pitch, it just shows that like maybe that's where a question point is coming up, is I'm like that. And there's like a little bit of a trust thing there around like, oh, like she was like, you were very like adamant, like I am the one leading this whole thing by myself. Okay, so as a solo founder without a team, how are you actually going to do this and scale?
Yeah.
So that's what ends up coming up. Like it's very impressive, but also a little bit scary.
Yeah, definitely.
Grow it. So then, definitely. Like, as a solo founder, being aware of that and saying like that, I'm currently building a team, or we have a way that we curate and like whatever that happens to me, just ensuring that you're kind of like building that trust with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much, Shay. Charlene, take us home.
Yeah, for sure. Again, kudos. I actually have a real passion for just not really understanding why in developed and urban centers there's food wastage and hunger and food scarcity. It actually like boggles my mind. So I was like, oh yes. So a couple of things. So definitely from a storytelling perspective, again, right away, as soon as you said offices, my brain kind of turned off. I was waiting because I'm like, we don't go to offices. We used to have snacks at our offices. We're not doing that. So I unfortunately spent the whole pitch waiting for you to kind of convince me that your business was still viable. And I know COVID's temporary, but maybe just adjusting if you are going to be pitching kind of between now and also HR people are talking all the time about whether offices are a thing anymore. It's going to look different at minimum. I don't know if it's never going to be a thing. So even maybe starting with your story of saying like, we actually started in 2019, here's the traction we got, and then share with me that pivot earlier, because I kind of wasn't listening because I was waiting to hear how you're going to, because I was like, oh, COVID affected your business. And I felt bad, but I was waiting, and then you kind of proved me wrong, but it was further down the pitch. So just maybe be mindful of that story right now there. The other thing kind of on Shay's point too, when you state the problem statement, you have to make sure that your solution matches the problem statement. Humans, we don't like to, like, we need to be hit over the head with the obvious realities of the story, right? So, and it didn't quite match. You're kind of saying that like offices are not happy about the apple, or they don't like the bruised apple. I didn't really, and then the food waste, the farmers, and then I didn't really understand quite how your company addresses that problem that you tell me you're addressing. So maybe just kind of, it's probably just a wordsmithing type thing, but that connection was really made it kind of a bit confusing on there. And then again, that value prop. So when you kind of talked about the offices right away, I was a little bit lost, like, well, is your business on hold for the next 12 months? Or do you need to tell me an actual fact? This is how many people are actually back in the office. You said that the 50% of people kept it going, which is good, but what do you expect it to be once COVID, for 2022? So again, just kind of calling the elephant out in the room instead of pretending that COVID's not happening to your business. And then again, I'm not really sure what the solution is. And again, just for any entrepreneur, as soon as I hear we're the only ones that do X, I'm like, it's just probably not the case. So you kind of said, we're the only ones that start with an education program for the food for the office. So right away, I'm like, okay, I don't know if you're the only one. I don't understand that education program you do to kick it off. So I don't know how proprietary it is. And then you're also doing it in an office during COVID. So I was a little bit lost with the value proposition to get excited about the business itself as opposed to the greater mission behind it. And then just to kind of also on Shay's thing and just for general advice on that kind of greed side of it. Sometimes entrepreneurs, especially like passionate in the social good, like greed and capitalism is the ultimate enemy. And even in HR, like I do a lot of work in ED&I, and sometimes it's just like giving the benefit of the doubt of intentions for folks. And, you know, I liked how you actually worded and said that like people are buying bulk with the intention of bang for a buck. Because the bottom line, businesses need to make money. You need to make money as a business, right? So it can't be that the almighty dollar is this negative, terrible thing, right? Unless you're pitching communism, which fair. I'd love to see a startup that kind of took some of those values. But so, you know, I like the way you explained it, said that people are trying to get their most bang for their buck, and unknowingly to them, this is resulting in food waste. And that's just a lot kinder, gentler, more business-minded way of saying like, hey, I only have limited budget. And if I want to give my people healthy snacks, that's a total nice to have in a business. So yeah, I'm going to stretch that budget because I'm not Google. I don't have unlimited budget for this nice to have employee perk. So, but hey, let me know if I'm actually, my good intentions are leading to food waste, because I want to know that as a customer, as well as an investor and a business person. So it might just be a good way for everyone to kind of think about reframing that value on greed and how, you know, that sort of thing, depending who you're talking to. Yeah. And then the other thing, again, on the competition, like the problem you're solving, my brain immediately went to that grocery stores around the world are also trying to solve this problem. So I know even locally, Superstore has like imperfect fruit. You can buy a bag of imperfect apples that is like half the cost of the perfect apples, which I imagine is kind of doing the same thing as you. So again, competitors are not something to be scared of. And when you kind of just pretend they don't exist or no one else is in your space, it doesn't come across as you're exclusive and I want you more. It comes across that you might be misinformed or a little naive. Whereas just call out what other people are doing to play in this space and then how you're different. It's always about how you're different from your competitor. You never ignore the competitor. You never don't talk about the competitor. You just talk about you more and how you're different, better, solving something different, and that sort of thing. And then just in regards to like your proprietary rollout plan, I would maybe address it and just kind of say, much like, you know, I don't know if you're taking a model from Uber or Airbnb or all those people that have managed to kind of create the playbook and roll out, just kind of summarize that like next steps that Melanie's mentioned before that entrepreneurs sometimes forget, and it leaves investors just a little wanting more. But cool. Yeah, no, love it. Super great idea.
Yeah. Cool. If you go back to actually our first pitch from today, I think it was Algie did a good job of being like, there are lots of competitors here. This is how we're different. I know we said like, let's work on the this is how we're different piece on that one. But like, I love when people are like, there's a lot here, and not just competitors, think of competitors and alternatives.
Yeah. Playing in the same space, because those could turn into partnerships too, which
exactly.
Investor is like, oh, I actually started the program of the bruised apples up Superstore. Like maybe you guys can partner, right? As opposed to compete. So there's this kind of that recognition of you're all playing the same game.
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay. So we're going to have our last, I almost forgot. Trista, if you can jump back on, I almost forgot. Please tell us how we as your community can help amplify the work you're doing.
Oh, yeah, I think it would be great if you guys can help me make some introduction in the Montreal area. We're specifically looking for food service suppliers as well as movie set craft services. Those are kind of hard to come by, but we're really excited to have that conversation with them and understand the landscape here. Yeah.
Okay, great. And you can connect with Kitchenet at kitchenet.org and Kitchenet Fresh on Instagram, and on Facebook, it's Eat Kitchenet. So a little bit different ones there. Maybe go to the website and go find all the socials from there, and make sure to, again, like, share, and do all the things, and connect with Trista if you have any introductions that you can make. So thank you so much, Trista, for joining us here today. We have our last but not least. I see people already asking about where they can vote. We have one left to go, and then we'll give you all the information for where you can go vote on the top pitch. So Maria, really excited to have you here. Maria is the co-founder and CSO of Cardian Diagnostics, calling in from, are you actually calling in from Kitchener, Ontario?
I am. It's actually Kitchener.
Yes. Okay, perfect. And exciting news is that Cardian Diagnostics has been selected as one of the top 10 Canadian startups to enter the prestigious Entrepreneurship for Cardiovascular Health Opportunities program at Ted Rogers Centre for Heart Research in Toronto. So congratulations for that, really exciting news. And when you're ready, we would love to see your pitch.
Thank you very much for this great introduction. And I'll just share my slides. Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. So now imagine living your life with a constant fatigue, shortness of breath, and the fear of not waking up one day. This is how living with heart failure feels like, and that is the reality for over 1 million Canadians. Now meet Amy, who lives with heart failure. She's currently using the telehealth app to monitor her blood pressure, weight, and potential symptoms, but she fears that this might not be enough, and she might need a heart transplant. At Cardian, we propose a non-invasive, affordable, sensitive, at-home monitoring device for heart failure patients to live a healthier and longer life. Our mission is to make heart failure manageable without hospital admission. We will be reaching our customers through telehealth platforms, which are currently experiencing an unprecedented growth due to COVID-19 pandemic. We will be offering our patients a subscription. For $60 a month, each patient will receive one monitoring device per week. There are currently 7.2 million patients living with heart failure in North America, of whom 2 million are using telehealth platforms to monitor their condition. We will be targeting 10% of this market. We project to acquire 100,000 users and generate over $70 million in revenue by year 2028. There are currently no sensitive, non-invasive, rapid, affordable, convenient, and at the same time telehealth compatible product on the market, which will give us a competitive advantage. We will complete our prototype development by the end of this year, and we'll start testing our prototype in the beginning of next year. Upon design optimization and regulatory approval from Health Canada, we will start mass producing our device and penetrate the Canadian market by the end of next year. By the end of year 2023, with the regulatory approval from FDA, we will penetrate the US market. We are very confident that we will reach our goal because our team is composed of experts in diagnostic test kit development, clinical trials in heart failure patients, and cardiovascular device engineering. And with that, I would like to ask all heart failure patients and their relatives to please go to our website, cardiandiagnostics.com, and fill out the questionnaire. And for the potential investors in the audience, I would like to ask for 15 minutes of your time to meet with the Cardian Diagnostics team. And with that, I would like to thank you for your attention. And this is Maria with Cardian Diagnostic.
Thank you so much, Maria. Perfect. All righty. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so Charlene, I think we're starting with you for this last one.
Yeah,
pass it over.
Sure. Cool. Well, first off, congratulations on everything. That's amazing. So yeah, again, my feedback's always storytelling as opposed to business pitch event. So small thing right away, make sure you pause and start with who you are and your company. You kind of dove right in. So just a small thing, really easy to fix. Yeah, the other thing too is when you don't have to go in order of your pitch. So sometimes people think, oh, the team slide has to be at the end, or we have to start with the problem slide. And it's really about telling a cohesive story. So in your case, immediately when I start hearing about health stuff, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's hard, right? It's probably the hardest sale. There's regulation. You gave me this big pitch about Canadian approval, FDA approval. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like as an investor, especially as an angel investor, which is a different asset class than VC investors, I'm like, is this company even plausible? But your team, of course, is plausible. Look at your team. So I would start actually with like, here is my team. And then I need a little bit more about the problem too, because heart failure sounds terrible. Luckily, I have no clue what that means. Like, do people's hearts just stop? Is it due to disease? Is it, I don't know what that journey is like normally for a person suffering from heart failure. For Amy, and I don't know why telehealth isn't enough. You kind of just said, oh, she's doing telehealth. It's not enough. And I was like, oh, but I don't understand what she's using telehealth for. I don't understand Amy. So maybe just spend a little bit more time about Amy's journey and other people like Amy. And then kind of what your solution is. I also had this moment when I'm like, oh, your monitoring device. Again, I didn't really know, like, I don't know if there was a picture of the device. I don't know if that's a prototype. I don't know how your device monitors it. Again, no context what heart disease is or heart failure is. So that's just some of that basic education, which sometimes you have to take investors through, especially when it's a very niche market, because you probably can appeal to a larger group. And then the other thing is the investors, like, how much are you raising? So you kind of said, talk to our people. And like, also you're talking what I assume to be your product people. And I'm like, well, why as an investor do I want to talk to the product people? I want to talk to the business people. I want to know your money. I also might want to plant a seed of how close or how likely it is you'll get those compliance things. Because to me, that just becomes like, if I'm going to write you my money and you can't get past that, and you've got these great milestones, but how likely is that? Has your team done that 25 times before? Again, these are all the things I think of. Like, investors are always like, how is this business going to fail? And you need to lower that risk bar for me to write the check, essentially, when I go with my investor brain. Yeah. And then the other thing, your competitor slide, I kind of leaned in because all your competitors do some of the things, and maybe because I didn't really understand the product. I also don't understand why there was like 6 things, why, again, all 6 things being addressed is really valuable. You mentioned the telehealth, but there was 2 competitors that did integrate with telehealth. So again, maybe understanding the product and why you are bringing a whole bunch of products together to be something all inclusive in the market might have been a good thing. So yeah, great, super cool company. Glad you're getting the funding and backing to kind of continue on. Amazing team, just trying to kind of solidify the story and educate me as an investor.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much for your feedback.
Thanks, Charlene. Shay, over to you.
I also had the similar thing with Charlene about what exactly more about the product itself. I didn't understand why you need 1 per week, or I think it was 1 per week. Is it a one-time use thing? Is it something you have to, what is that process, the manufacturing part of it, and how many does a person need to have? I wasn't sure about that part. It wasn't clear to me. And then also, again, in the beginning, what Charlene said, you went right into the story, and I was waiting to know, there's just a slight, but that's such a tiny thing. That's not a major thing. When you said the price point of $60 per month, I didn't know, is that affordable? Is that what most people can afford? Is that covered by insurance? Is that who's paying for that? I wasn't sure who that was for. Is this something you're selling to hospitals, or is it, maybe you said it and I missed it, but it wasn't clear to me who's paying the $60 per month. Where was the other thing? In the beginning, you were kind of reading the slides, and I think you could have just shown a picture of a woman that could be Amy, and then read that part to yourself, so that then also I could have a little more passion for Amy, like make me feel emotional. This is a storytelling side of it, of course, but you just read the words, and I was following along with you on the words, but maybe that would be a good place to put a visual to invoke some emotion, make me feel like, yeah, we have to do this. We have to help Amy. We have to save her, that kind of thing. What was it? Oh, I liked how you did have the comparison, but I also agree with Charlene that why were those factors important? I thought it was great that you had the comparison, because we were talking about earlier that how do you distinguish yourself from everyone else? There are people doing what you're doing, but why you? And I thought that was a very good chart to do it, but I didn't know why is it important that we have all of those things? And why isn't anyone else doing all of those things, So maybe that's important for your investors, maybe not. I think it just depends on where you go with that. Yeah, that was pretty much it. Overall, I thought you did a really good job. I love what you're trying to do. I'm always up for it. My parents are in healthcare, so this is like a constant conversation about what products are out there, what are we using, what are they giving their patients. So it's not just my parents, cousins, aunts, everyone's in healthcare. So all this stuff is really interesting to me. So good for you, trying to make a difference.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your feedback.
Amazing.
I appreciate that.
All right, so Maria, What can we as your community do today to help amplify your work?
So as I mentioned in the presentation, if you yourself are suffering from heart failure or your relatives are suffering from heart failure, please go to our website, cardiandiagnostics.com, and fill out a very short questionnaire. We will use this information to better design our product and deliver it back to you. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So if you want to learn more about Cardian Diagnostics, you can head over to cardiandiagnostics.com and check out that survey there and follow along on your journey. I'm excited to see where this goes. Thank you so much for Maria for joining us here today.
Thank you again. Thank you. I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you again.
Cool. Alrighty, so we're going to jump into voting now. I believe that's what we're doing now. So thank you first and foremost to all 5 companies. I think so incredible everything that you're doing, and there was lots of like, wow, this is such a cool industry, this is really inspiring, you're doing amazing things, look at your team, like a lot of really positive things, and it sounds like really just kind of a lot of lessons to be learned around storytelling and competitive analysis and specificity in your ask, and those are 3 points that are consistently come up, so you're absolutely not alone in those being kind of pain points in the pitch. So
pitching is hard. It's hard to distill your baby down into 3 minutes is especially hard. Normally you get 5. So the Amplify team is definitely putting you out to a challenge.
90 seconds, Charlotte.
I know,
we had 90 seconds
on those. Those are really tough.
Years.
Yeah. No, everyone did a really great job for sure.
Yeah.
And feedback was valuable.
Absolutely. Alrighty, so let's get the votes in. If you head to buzzit.ca, you should have an event key kind of field come up, and you put in Amplify Woman, and then you'll be able to vote on your top pitch of today's event. You can also head over to Buzzit to connect with the pitchers, so they each have profiles, so you don't have to memorize all of the things that I said in terms of where you can find them. You can go and connect with them directly there. You can also learn more about our sponsors. And of course you can vote there. So Isabel's going to be monitoring what's going on over on the vote side of things. And I believe Isabel's also going to fill us in on what's happening at Volition.
Yeah, so while everyone's getting their votes in, I just want to go through some upcoming events we have. So as mentioned earlier in the event, Melanie does weekly Instagram live founder chats. So this month we have some amazing startups. So Ashley Stone from Village App, she's actually a Pitch alumni. That is on April 6th. April 13th, we have Sean Burke from Checking In, which again, Melanie mentioned earlier on in the event. So it's April 13th, and April 20th, we have Sophia Cheng from With Many Roots, who is a personal contact with Melanie, I believe. I'm correct in
she's
saying
from
that?
my digital nomad community.
Yeah.
She's incredible, and also helping kind of change the world in the environmental sustainability space, which I feel like many of the people here in the audience and pitching here today can relate to.
And then our next Amplify Live pitch will be focusing on green, clean and sustainable startups. So that will be April 28th. So we tend to have our Amplifies on the last Wednesday of each month. So if you're watching now and you are a green, clean or sustainable startup, we do have applications open until April 14th. So make sure to check that out on our Eventbrite page. I'll put the link into the YouTube page shortly. And then we also have a new sort of event happening. So it's a BC Startup Showcase. So this is part of the Discovery Foundation's Regional Investor Readiness Program. So Volition is one of the agents for the Discovery Foundation Technology Education Program. And with the funding that we've gotten from that, we're going to be offering entrepreneurs across BC an opportunity to accelerate their business and investor readiness skills through pitch masterminds, coaching, and these BC showcases. So we'll actually be doing 3 this year. So the first one will be May 12th. So that's open to any startups in the BC area. And it's specifically for people that are raising or intending to raise in the next 12 months. So all information on that we'll put into the YouTube link. If you are interested in either applying or attending, you can do so. And then Melanie has this.
Yeah, just one more shout out and thank you to Startup Canada and the Startup Women Fund for helping sponsor today's event. They've asked us to please pass along a survey, which is going to be in the YouTube field as well. And it's 4 questions, and you just have to make sure to say that you came to a Volition community startup or startup community event. And then it just says, did you like it? And there's a scale, and is there anything that they could do to improve, kind of thing. So they're just getting tons of data in terms of all of the different people that they worked with over the past month and all the different events that were put on over the past month all across Canada. So we would love, love, love if you could do us a solid and jump in there and fill out that survey for us or for Startup Canada. That would be fantastic. And thanks again to Startup Canada.
Alrighty, so I might check on, I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
And I know, I recognize that
on.
we are right on time, and I know that Charlene has to jump off right now. Do you want to say a quick bye?
Yeah, thanks everyone. Great job. Super not easy, super weird being in Zoom world, and good job. And please connect with me on LinkedIn. Isabel and Melanie have my information. Happy to continue the conversation. Shay, very nice meeting you. Pleasure to share the panel. Awesome. I got to jump to a meeting. Thank you so much. Bye.
Yes. And right before we announce the winner, Shay, did you have any final thoughts or parting things of words of wisdom for our panel or pitchers here today?
I just want to say that everyone, I thought, did a really good job overall, and so inspiring and so innovative in so many different ways. And I think that we need more of this out here. And I'm so glad that you guys, Volition, are doing these women pitch events, even if it's just a practice, even in whatever it's for, just getting out there and doing it over and over and over again until it feels natural. Because if you're starting this business or working in this field, it has to start feeling natural to tell people what you do and how you help save the world or impact the world.
Thank you, Shay. Yeah, and honestly, these women's pitch events we get like 30 people applying every single time. So we're also very aware that there is this need for women's pitch events in particular. Like we get double the amount of people applying. We hear back from women constantly saying we need to have more of these. I want to practice, but also I this like need to be in these kinds of competitions where you also get actual funding out of them, because we also know there's a lot of structural barriers for women and for women of color in particular in terms of getting funding, even getting loans from banks. There's issues with like criteria for so many different things. So we're also working on that. And if anyone's out there and wants to partner and is particularly keen to sponsor an event so we can get some monetary funds as well that we can give away at these, I would love that. That's my dream. So thank you everyone so much who really supports these, and there's a definite need. So yes, appreciate it. How are we doing, Isabel?
Yep, we're good.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you know who the winner is via Slack.
Okie dokie. Exciting times. Okay.
If all the pitches are wanted to, there's screens on.
Welcome back. Welcome, welcome. Alrighty. Okay. So we have everyone here now, and drum roll. Our top pitch of today's Amplify event is algae. So that's Alessandra. Congratulations, Alessandra. Great
Thank you
job.
so much.
Amazing. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Thank you so much. This is great. We really appreciate it, and looking forward to kind of continuing to work on our mission of kind of creating sustainable food. And this is really going to help to kind of advance us and move us forward with that mission. So thank you.
Amazing. Congratulations, Alessandra. Fantastic job. Congratulations, everyone. As Shay said, all working on incredible things. Can you imagine if we all worked together? We'd be like saving people's lives and changing industries, and we'd all be healthy. Really, really cool. Thank you all so much for being here. And thank you to everyone in the audience. Thank you to our sponsors, Pivot and Pilot, Startup Canada, to Shay and Charlene, both for giving your time here today, your expertise, incredible feedback. This is obviously recorded, so you can go back and watch. I know we had some new entrepreneurs in the audience. Go back, really, really useful kind of tips that were going on here. Thank you to the Volition team as well. Isabel, thank you, thank you, thank you. My managing partner, yes. My managing partner and co-founder, Paul Broussard, was not able to be here today, so Isabel actually took on even more of the public speaking part than usual, which is very exciting. So congratulations and thank you, Isabel. And thank you to Sabrina and Gabby, who are in the background doing all the things on our social media right now over the past hour and a half. So thanks to everyone from the Volition team who's supported too. Alrighty, well, I hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday, I believe it is. Whether it's nighttime for you over in Europe, or if it's midday and you're just about to have lunch, wherever you happen to be. Am I missing anything, Isabel? Have I forgotten things?
No, we will keep the chat open for a little bit longer if you want to stay and connect with other attendees and other pitchers. But that's all from us.
That's all from us. All righty. Thank you again, and we will see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Big thank you to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.